Rochester City Council. Today is September 22nd. City Clerk, the roll call, please.
Salvia.
Here.
Vixen.
Here.
Hauser.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
King.
Here.
Sage.
Here.
Trent.
Here. We have a quorum. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining us this evening. I know there's several Lions fans in the house here tonight, but public service first, so we'll get right down to business. First up on our agenda this evening, we have a presentation from Chief George regarding Rochester Saves project, and I learned that this was part of your Leadership Rochester program, which is pretty exciting.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to thank you for allowing us to be here tonight for this presentation. This is a very unique project, and we've been working on this for several months. We have several hundreds of hours involved in this program. One thing I can say is it's a program, basically it focuses on individuals with certain cognitive disabilities, and we just want to have a better relationship with individuals that have certain needs, vulnerable people, especially in traffic stops. So as I get into this, what does SAVES project stand for? SAVES stands for Special Needs, Autism, Vulnerable Persons, Elderly, and Safety. So if you have an individual, this program works, if you have an individual in your family that likes to wander, we have many individuals in our town that they wander from events. We just had one at Art and Apples. They wander from the home, young people, old people. This is a good project for you. If you have an individual in your family that's on the spectrum that operates a motor vehicle, this is a great project for them. And also, when you have an individual in your family that suffers or is diagnosed with certain disabilities, that's a family issue. It's not just one person. You know, when I was involved in Families Against Narcotics, you know, you may have an addict living with you, or an alcoholic living in the house, but that becomes a family issue. That's where the education part comes in, and we have professionals on our board that will help educate not only our officers, but the community. So, there's three components to this program. One's the SAVES Project ID, and I will have Officer Hogue come up here, Brenna Hogue. She's here today. She's been instrumental. She's the one that introduced this program. She's one of the founders. We have the Blue Envelope program. I will speak about that, and we have the community outreach. So for now, if Brenna you want to come up here and talk about how the SAVES Project ID works. And this is her 6-year-old daughter, Christina.
My name's Christina Hogue, and I'm helping with the SAFE project.
Thank you.
So, Christina is the main reason why I thought of this project. Being a mom with a daughter who has Asperger's, who wanders, she's wandered away several times and used to be nonverbal. And so I really wanted to look for a way that individuals can identify somebody if they are nonverbal, if they don't remember who they are. And we came up with the idea of promoting a logo with a QR code. So it's all about recognition of the SAVES Project logo, seeing that, knowing it's a vulnerable person, scanning the QR code, a ID will come up, and there are samples in front of you of that QR code. Yep, if you want to scan it, it's going to come up with a sample person. And that'll come up with somebody's basic profile. It'll have emergency contacts. It'll say if they're missing or not. It's, with technology these days, you know, our goal is to prevent, you know, fatalities and help speed up with the recovery of wandering persons.
Thank you. And if you register online, savesproject.com, we'll get you the packet. You'll get 6 stickers, and those stickers can go on an individual's phone. It can go on the dashboard of your car, a bike seat, wherever somebody's attached to. So if we have to ID somebody, because a lot of people we run into are nonverbal, this will tell us basically who you are, where you live, emergency contacts, and so forth. The second component to this project is the Blue Envelope program. I think this is a pretty cool program. This will be the only program in Michigan. We want to be the leading agency. We want to set the benchmark. So this Blue Envelope program, how it works is, if you have an individual in your house, they're on the spectrum, and there's a lot of people that drive, maybe they shouldn't be driving, but there's a lot of people out there that get confused. They don't know how to interact with law enforcement. What you do is you register online. It's very simple. It takes about 2 minutes. Once you register, you're going to get this nice folder we made. So you get the folder. After that, in the folder, or this, you will get a blue envelope. This is the key to the program. It says driver has special needs, speaking, non-speaking. The driver is autistic spectrum, may have dementia symptoms, has communication challenges, or other. So what you're going to do is you're going to place, your caregiver can place, or you can place a copy of your driver's license, registration, and insurance in this envelope. And also, the key is this About Me form. This form will tell us who you are, what kind of medical information. It has stressors, de-escalation methods, and emergency contact names. This goes in the envelope. The main thing for this program is the sticker, the logo. This logo is going to be in the rear window of the car. Our goal is to train every law enforcement agency in Michigan. When you see this logo in the back of the car, I already know something's going on in the car. There could be a communication barrier. I know somebody in that car may be diagnosed with a certain special need. So I'm going to change my mindset. I'm not even out of the car yet. I already know to change my mindset. We are professionals when we stop people, but sometimes you get complacent. Sometimes you stop 8, 9, 10 cars a day, you become robotic, and that's how you talk to people. And again, in this situation, you have to have patience. You have to practice empathy. You got to have understanding. That's the whole objective of this program. So the key is this logo. And you can also, we can open this up. Let's say you have a child in a car that suffers from autism. Maybe they don't like flashing lights. They're afraid of the police. You can still register for the program again. So when I'm walking up to the car, I know something's going on in that car. I know to change my whole persona when I approach the car. You know, I think that's very important. The goal is we want to connect with people. Nobody likes to be stopped by the police. However, we can make it a very positive stop. We can have a positive interaction. We don't want any stress. I stopped an elderly lady the other day. She was shaking. She was crying. She didn't know where to find her license. She was going through the glove box. She was dropping papers. If I seen this, can I see your blue envelope, ma'am? That's all she has to do is, this has to be on your visor. We instruct them. She just gives this to me, and that's it. That's it. It's simple. And if there's something going on where there's some confusion, she doesn't know where she's at, that's when I look at her sheet. Maybe I can take her to the station or call a family member. A lot of people suffer from low blood sugar. They're driving and they're dizzy. You get a young officer out there, they're going to think they're impaired. They're under some kind of narcotic or drug. They could register for this also and have the form there, and I know that person has low blood sugar, and I can contact a family member. That's what's nice about this. So again, it's about connecting, less stressful encounters. We just want to do good with people. We want to interact. And the third thing to this is the communication outreach. We have a very diverse board. We have a judge in our board. We have a doctor, a psychologist, a nurse who teaches dementia. We have police, we have fire, we have a grant writer, we have law enforcement. We have a lot to offer. Every one of us can bring in a lot of valuable information for families. What we plan on doing is not only we're going to teach law enforcement officers on how to register for this program and how to do it, but we can teach certain families how to deal with their child that's autistic, or how to deal with people with special needs that come to your counter at City Hall here. There's a million things we can do, but that's one of the component of the program is the outreach. We haven't even launched this yet, And we have partners, Spectrum Training Solutions, Autism Alliance of Michigan, National Autism Association, Alzheimer's Association, Rochester PD, Rochester Fire Department, Autism Testing for Kids, and U of M Flint's on board. I also have commitments from a number of police agencies. They want information on this. They want to get involved. We're going to formally launch this as probably tomorrow morning. I just wanted to bring it to council first, but people from out of state are already calling. I don't know how they found out, but they're calling. They want to know what we're doing, how we're doing it. And I'm just proud that Rochester will be the leading agency for this. My goal, again, is for every police department in Michigan to be on this program and maybe move to the state level. We can get the Secretary of State involved. If you go for a license and you're on a spectrum, then you would have to register for this program. Even the courts, that's why we have a district court judge involved. She may order certain people to register for this program. So it's a win-win thing. I'm very proud of the work that Brenna has done. Her mother, Erin Welch, she's our grant writer. They've been instrumental in setting up, you know, we're going to be nonprofit. And one thing is we will work on grant money, grant funding. We've applied for grants and we accept donations. If you go on the savesproject.com, there's a lot of very valuable information about the program. We're going to have videos of how the police stop you. They have the logo on the window. So we're going to keep changing that. We'll see how this goes the first 3 months. We may have to modify it a little bit. You know, it'll never be perfect, but it'd be close too. But again, this is something new in Fraser, I'm sorry, my old community. I keep thinking about Families Against Narcotics. You know, that's the thing. When I did Families Against Narcotics, we had 80 people in the basement, and everybody was pointing their fingers at everyone. Now there's 30 chapters. I'm hoping this will be the same, and I'm very confident because I just feel it. I feel it taking off. You know, the phone calls we're getting. I feel very confident it's going to be the same type thing. So, yeah. So please go online, savesproject.com. If you have any information, if you need any questions answered, we'll be more than happy to answer. But the key is to launch this next. Get the word out. We want people to register, and then we'll start it off. So.
That's excellent,
Wow.
Chief.
Thanks,
Thank you
Chief.
so much. Thank you, Officer Brenna. Thank you. Thank you. I can tell this is a passion project of yours. So
Yes.
this is wonderful. I think all of council is jumping up and down. This
100%.
is done so well.
Yeah.
I guess I just have a quick question. How do you keep the information private from like a HIPAA privacy standpoint?
So there is no information online that, everything that they provide is, it's no more than what you would find online, like through like Yellow Pages or something like that. Like it's just all basic, like name, address, phone number, birthday, all things that are pretty much public information. If they want to disclose the information such as what their diagnoses are, that is on them.
Yeah.
So it's all a
It's
volunteer
optional.
thing, and we can always look into that further if, you know, there is something more down the line with that. But it's not mandatory. It's recommended for them to say
Yeah.
what it is, but not mandatory.
Thank you. Councilmember Trent.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. And it seems to be like part of the dementia and Alzheimer's work that the committee was
Yeah.
doing. So this is like a good outcome, I think. I agree that it is. How about, so this you have for drivers. So it's the driver that has this
It'll be in their visor.
in the visor,
Or it
not
could be
not the passenger.
It could be for a passenger. Like if you're mom and you're driving around your son or daughter and let's say they're autistic and they're afraid of lights, afraid of police, you can still register. And as soon as we see the logo, we just know
Okay.
what questions to ask and approach, you know, with
Okay.
more empathy and patience.
I see. Okay,
So-
that was all I
In the
had.
instance that if there is, say, a car accident, those QR codes, we recommend putting them on a dash, somewhere where like a first responder can see, especially if I had Christina in the car with me, and up until age 4, she couldn't talk.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, if I had that on the dash, on the front seat, you know, ahead of her, like, they'll be able to know what emergency contacts there are, that she is nonverbal autism, you know, she
I
has,
see.
you know,
Yeah.
these types of things that will cause her to escalate. So it's, when you receive that packet from the SAFES project, it's gonna have, we try to just keep it all together for ease, where you'll get the QR codes, you'll receive the blue envelope, you'll receive the dementia information, you'll receive the the autism information, because it all kind of goes together as well, especially with ordering.
Yep.
And so they'll still have those resources.
Oh, good. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank
This
you.
is
That's
wonderful.
amazing.
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
amazing
Wonderful.
project.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you for being here, too. All right, moving on to our consent agenda. We first have consideration of requests for the Dachshund Hoss Rescue Event. This group is getting ahead of the game. This is our first 2026 event being requested, May 8th, 2026. Consideration of request to approve the inaugural Reindeer Classic 1 Mile Dash. This will be held during the Hometown Christmas Parade on December 7th, 2025. Consideration of the city manager compensation adjustment. Item D is to appoint election workers for the November 4th, 2025 general election, as well as for early voting, absentee counting board, election day, and receiving board. And lastly, we have a check register. Council.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A, B, C, D, and E.
Motion to approve the entire consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Support by Trent. Any discussion? City Clerk, the roll call.
Salvia,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Sage,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to go back. I didn't ask for any public comment. So quick comment on public comment. So we will take public comment for items that are on the agenda, which I have a feeling some of you are here for that. But if you have a public comment on anything that is not on our agenda tonight, if you could please approach.
My name is Kay, excuse me, my name is Kay Johnson, I'm at 137 North Alice Avenue. I've been observing, I go down First Street a lot, and the lot right on Walnut and First that they're developing, aren't those plastic fences that they put around property that's being worked on, aren't those expensive to put up? Well, the one there since May has been a quarter standing. So what's the object? Why do they have to put it up and then you don't make them keep it up? If it's important to put up, why isn't it important to keep it so it's usable? Because it just looks terrible.
If I may, hi, Kay. So the black stuff is the silt fencing that was put up just to keep dirt from moving around. Now that they're actively starting the construction project, they'll put up a more permanent fence. That'll happen in the next few weeks. They have to be able to get to the dirt. They're just removing dirt at this point, so, but it'll be fenced and we'll maintain it once it goes up properly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kay. Any other public comments tonight?
Pat Kane, 817 West 4th Street, Rochester. With the absentee ballots going out later on this week, I'm kind of compelled again to address a couple situations because I got a couple of blast emails sent to me in the last week, 2 of them. Both of them are very disappointing to read. They are by certain candidates that hope to sit here. So I'm going to preface that with a little information. If you want to sit here, if you want to run one of our departments, if you want to be a chairperson of one of our committees, if you even want to work for this city, there's a couple of things that come to the forefront from us old timers, and that's going to be ethics. We expect and want, just as we have in this city, just as we are used to in this city, honesty, integrity, clarity, and appropriate representation. We're not getting that from a couple of people running, and I have some concerns. The first thing is that in speaking with some city council members and city manager and head of our DPW, I have no reason to believe that this city is neglecting infrastructure. As I touched on last time, we just spent money by moving funds forward to repave and do infrastructure work in the subdivision where one of the candidates live. In addition to that, we did do in the city construction on the Pine First Street area. So I don't know where we are neglecting infrastructure, and we're doing this every single year. I'd like them to put the streets down. Where are we neglecting? And let's be point specific if they can. Next, the next thing I understand is that we just spent all that money and they live there. The next is we have a 3-year balanced budget. There are no flashy projects going on. We have 3 projects ahead of us right now. That is the community house, the Graham, and thank goodness the bridge for the trail. Where are the flashy projects? Where is there frivolous stuff? I'd like them to put a name to it like any person who is honest and ethical would do. The next thing is the candidates claim that there's outside interests that are influencing the agenda for this city. Well, at the forum that I attended, put on by the League of Women Voters, 3 candidates, which I have to be current council members, are all self-funding their campaigns. I don't know who's running and funding the campaign on the other 2, but I certainly would like to know what special interest group financed the large ads that were just put out in last week's paper. I'd be very curious to that. Then we've got the next problem is the candidates, I feel, are not interested at all in fixing the city because we have nothing really to fix. We have some things we're working on, and I'm going to be real upfront, and that is called zoning. Do we have problems? No, not at this point. We haven't. We take care of things as they come up with a process and a procedure and open communication. So I don't think they have an interest in fixing this city because everybody I do talk to, and I talk to people at a very different level, can't find things that really need to be fixed except what we're addressing right now. What they really want fixed is for this city to lay out the money for their infrastructure that they didn't plan for, that they didn't save any money for, and that is their sewers and their sidewalks. That's not our problem. Read the deeds, read your contracts. Pull your information before you move into an HOA, but don't promise 4 votes to the people in the HOA that you're going to save them money and fix something that you cannot fix based on a deed and based on contracts. So I'm very disappointed in all of this. As far as I'm saying that right now, there's just blatant lies, untruths, misrepresentation, miscommunication, and manipulation of facts and dollars for votes. And the last thing this city wants, and most of the people I talk to want, sitting anywhere, is someone that cannot be trusted. And if I see this on the campaigns right now, and I know there isn't much the city can do as you're mired down with all of their lies out there being sent in blast emails, I will say one thing. There's accountability and responsibility when you're a candidate. It doesn't matter who's running your campaign for you. When that material leaves, you have the responsibility to make sure that it is truthful, honest, and accurate. And that's not happening. So good luck with everybody and get the votes out, and thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment for something that's not on our agenda later on? I don't see any callers, so seeing none. Moving on, we have no old business, we have no public hearings, we have 2 items for legislative deliberation. The first is consideration of a zoning amendment. This is section 1703 and 1803 for limited retail in some industrial districts. This is second reading and adoption. So, City Attorney.
Yes, thank you. Before you is the same version as you saw at the last city council meeting, and there was discussion, there has been discussion for months regarding this, and this will be the last step in the process, short of getting it published. So this would simply allow the limited retail, which is defined and set forth in the proposed ordinance for 1703 and 1803, which are currently the 2 industrial zones. This would allow some retail use in those areas. So if City Council is ready to proceed, the requested action is to move this ordinance amendment for second reading and adoption.
Okay, thank you. First, I will take public comments on this, and then I'll turn it to council. Are there any public comments regarding this agenda item? Mr. LaPuma,
Yeah, I'm not too good at this, so I'm gonna read it,
no worries.
okay? Okay. I own property on South Street at 277 and 289. It's on the north side, and it's zoned, when I bought it, heavy industrial. I'm sure it still has the same zoning. And I also own 394 and 398 on the south side, and I own the vacant lot next to the Rewald building. I am on South Street every day, and I've always looked at this street as a diamond in the rough. The new zoning poses serious challenges because most of the existing buildings are antiques, making them difficult or undesirable to replace with our tech. The lot sizes are too small to accommodate new construction while still providing adequate parking now required by code, which limits development potential. In addition, several properties sit on 100-year.
Tony,
Yes.
hold on, that's the next one. This
Oh,
is
it
just
is?
the retail,
Yes.
so just, you can start,
You
we
were
want
on
you to
a
start
roll.
over and read
You
it
were
from the
on a roll.
beginning again.
Okay.
Just
Yes.
one more item. and
more?
then- Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
I want to make it relevant, so.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, because otherwise we'll get confused.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Anyone regarding this agenda item, which is limited retail in some industrial zones within the city? Specifically, it's South Street that is zoned industrial. Any public comment on that? Any public comment online? Okay, seeing none, I will turn it back to City Council. Councilmember King.
I'd like to make a motion to, what is this, the second reading and adoption? To
move this forward
this
for
forward.
second reading and adoption.
Yep.
Great, thank you.
And then
Council-
can we just get one clarity on what the timing will be afterwards?
Happy to do so. So once city council passes this motion, what I do is tomorrow, I send the adopted ordinance to the clerks, and who then submit it to the newspaper for publication. And because it's a zoning ordinance, it becomes effective 7 days after publication. So that is so as soon as the newspaper is able to publish it, and once that happens, 7 days after that, then it becomes effective.
And then the process is, if someone wants to, they then submit an application that would go to Planning Commission.
That's correct for special exception use, yes.
Okay, great. Councilmember Sage.
Support.
Support by Sage. Any other discussion? Happy, thumbs up. City Clerk, the roll call, please.
Salvia,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Sage,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Motion passes. We now have accessory use on South Street in 7 days. All right, item B, moving on to consideration of new zoning code amendments.
No, that's different. Hang on, we haven't got there yet. We're going to have John go first.
Thank you, thank you. So let me just read the agenda item. So it's consideration of new zoning amendments and new zoning maps. So this is city council's, discussion. Tonight, we really want to hear from our planner, John Jackson, and of course, we want to hear from the public. So John, I'll let you take us through where we're at. We've had lots of discussions on this, and we're looking forward to hearing from you as well.
Great, thank you. I know there has been lots of discussion throughout this entire process, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. So the main thing I wanted to do tonight was to be here to answer questions. I know there were a number of questions that came up at the last city council meeting, maybe 2 meetings ago. We prepared a memo that was sent out in your packets maybe before the last meeting. So I'm here to answer any questions about that. I can go over those questions if you want to, or just wait and see whatever outstanding questions there still are. It's really up to you.
Okay, so let's turn it to council to see what questions we have. Councilmember Jones.
Okay, I'm not sure, I have probably 20 questions about individual. So I'm wondering if this makes sense to do a work session to go over this, or do we want to spend all the time I asked for the interactive map to be put up here.
Yep.
Jeremy said he could do that, and we can go one by one with all of my questions, and then do we go to public comment, or, because this might take a while. That's all I don't know how we should do this.
Why don't we start with maybe, like, pick your top three? And then we can get some public comment as well. And
Okay.
then council can deliberate whether we want to have a work session or what actions we want to take.
Okay, we'll start with on South Street, the RTEC, on the north side of South Street. That's going from I-2 to RTEC, and what the process or thought process must have been on that decision.
So,
First, I want to thank, actually, everybody, before we go into it. This has been a very long process, and we're coming in kind of towards the end of the process, so this is like a huge learning curve for us. And I know I just talked to you
Yep.
in Grand Rapids.
Right, yep.
So thank you for all the work that everybody's done so far. I just don't want to seem ungrateful as I have all these questions, so, all right.
So this is a major, undertaking for the city. Obviously, it's been in the works for years, and so we want to make sure we get the questions answered and people are comfortable. With that, I think when this gets to the point for adoption, not everyone's going to be 100% on every single parcel that this affects, okay? There's still going to be maybe some reservations on some of them, but let's start with South Street, specifically
Is there a
the
way to
north side.
point to it or not?
Pardon me?
Is there a way to actually go to it on here with your cursor, just so people that are here might be able to? Awesome, thank you.
Right in here. So when the city went through the master plan process, questions were asked to people that participated in that process. They asked questions like, what kind of uses would you like to see on South Street? And there was already some pretty heavy intensity uses there. But by and large, I think the feedback that the city got was, we don't want to see the type of uses that are listed in the I-2 district, junkyards. We don't think that this area south of the river is a good place to put those kind of heavy uses. We don't want to continue to encourage heavy industrial uses to be developed in that fragile environmental area. It just doesn't seem like we're valuing those environmental characteristics and that sort of thing. So the idea was to let's go with a lower intensity range of uses, okay? And that's where our tech came into play. It had the right list of low intensity uses that could hopefully be developed in a way that didn't impact the river as much, didn't impact the floodplains, could be done in a sensitive way. Now, just like a lot of other areas in the city, we know there are existing uses there, right? There are uses that may not fit perfectly into our tech district. So what do? You've got a lot of different options here in terms of what you do for those uses. You could proceed by just doing the rezoning to R-Tech, which would make those uses non-conforming, and they would have to comply with the non-conforming provisions that you currently have in place. That might limit their ability to finance, it may be limit their ability to get insurance, limit their ability to expand and things like that, okay? Or you could leave it I-2, which would open the city and this whole area up to a higher intensity industrialization, which I think is inconsistent with the master plan. But there's a third option. And this is what we see in a lot of mature communities, and that is, instead of approaching this with a sledgehammer or a jackhammer or something like this, let's go in here with a scalpel. And maybe we can address the non-conforming provisions that the city has and create a second tier of non-conformities. So we have a Class A non-conformity that would be subject to the strict non-conforming provisions that the city currently has. But let's create a Category B non-conforming. And let's say that would be used to encourage reinvestment in existing non-conforming parcels that don't pose an immediate threat to the overall concept of the master plan in the area in which they exist. It's been done in a lot of different communities, like I said, especially mature communities. And that way, we can get the R-Tech on the books and prevent future heavy industrialization of this sensitive area, but still come up with some provisions that would allow those existing businesses to continue to invest and continue to build on the success that they've had. So I think there's, like I said, a more strategic approach, a more subtle approach to getting something that works without leaving this area zone I-2. I would encourage you not to do that because you may wake up, with a lot of uses down there that you can't sort of walk back.
Okay, building on that, I just have a couple, and then we'll let everybody do a couple. First off, I don't think that we've had businesses coming to us for our tech, so that's just, so to me, it seems like an oddity on the zoning. But with that said, we've had chatter about mixed use down there with forward planning, 4 or 5 years from now, what if we want to open some little coffee shops down there or make it a cool little, part of town to do some shopping or whatever.
So
Let me just built on that. So I keep hearing about a 5-year plan, floodplain. Where is this floodplain and what is the floodplain and where does it, because if it is on the north side, then no one can build there, whether you're our tech or you're anything, right? So just, can you explain the floodplain a little bit?
Sure, I don't think I have a map that shows the floodplain handy, but,
I think maybe we have it on ours, but anyway, yeah.
There are some things that you can do in the floodplain. You can't have habitable space in the floodplain, but there are certain parameters that you can do. But what you don't want to do is put in, like I said, a heavy intensity use. And with respect to the concept, which I've heard a lot of talk about possibly going to a mixed use approach on this, where you have different uses on different levels of the building, maybe habitable uses are up above and things like that. Maybe that's an approach, but if you keep the I-2 in place, as you consider the concept of maybe mixed use in the future, and you start to get investment in heavy industrial uses, the possibility of moving towards a mixed use concept kind of diminish.
Right.
So what I would suggest in terms of a strategic approach is I would put the RTEC in place, look at how you address nonconformities, the Class B nonconformity, because that may still come into play after if you designate this for mixed-use development. You're still going to have the comments that you're going to get later tonight about if you change this to all the mixed use, because it's still going to create nonconformities. So coming up with a way to strategically address nonconformities, I think, is the next step in your process. Don't hold this up in order to do that. I would get this on the books, protect your valuable resource, then go in, create the nonconforming provisions that address these fairly, and then down the road, look at the concept of mixed use if that's the direction that the city wants to go.
Okay, so, do you want to build on that? I have a couple more questions.
Actually, I want to build on that.
We'll
Can you
spend-
explain to us what that process would look like?
For the
To elaborate on
nonconformities.
category B nonconformity.
Right.
So basically, an applicant, there's a couple ways you could do it. When you first create the non-conforming Class B status, you could identify non-conforming uses in the community that met the criteria of that Class B designation, which would be things like they wouldn't negatively impact surrounding uses directly. There's a slew of them, but basically they wouldn't have a major negative impact if they were allowed to remain, or even if they were allowed to expand within a certain percentage. Those kind of things would be put in place. And uses like these properties could be designated as Class B nonconforming provisions. Then moving forward, if someone had a Class A nonconforming, they could petition the city and request being changed into Class B nonconforming status. And that would basically be more or less the special exception process that you're all familiar with.
Okay.
I think the trouble, how do we get to that? Like, back to the planning commission to change the ordinance, back to city council to change the ordinance?
Yep, great question. Is that?
That was it, yep.
Okay, sorry.
CJ and run, keep
yeah.
it simple.
So we adopt these ordinances that we're proposing right now. But at the next planning commission meeting, we could introduce a draft of the Class B nonconforming. It would be a text amendment similar to what Jeff did today with respect to the retail and the industrial area.
But if it's a flood zone, that's why I have to keep coming back to it, because I keep hearing that. Why are we able to do anything there? I'm confused by that part. We keep hearing about the flood zone.
I can help, John, on that one. So the feds changed the 500-year floodplain definition. Rumors are in legislation, they're looking at backing off those. It doesn't matter. We need to be prepared, whatever they do. So that shouldn't drive this. You could, even in a 500-year floodplain, if you got Eagle's approval, you could cut and fill land and create higher space. So that shouldn't drive this whole thing. Right now, if you're in a 500-year floodplain, no one's getting a permit, but that could change. So we shouldn't worry about that. We should plan the right uses. And we won't be the ones controlling if it can be built or not. That will be the federal government's decision on where that 500-year floodplain is. It changes all the time, so.
Okay.
Okay. Are you good? Okay. So let's move to Councilmember Hauser.
Sure, just so, John, would you go parcel by parcel for that determination of the Class B, in a sense? Would you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd have to go, each tax ID number, you'd sit down with that owner of that property and go through an evaluation?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just say this right now out there, I would be reluctant to pass anything right now until I saw what the proposal for the B plan was, what that proposed language was that you would come to Planning Commission for. I would want to see that in advance, just so I kind of knew what I was getting into before I said, okay, this is fine.
Because I don't think we've heard of this before.
Yeah,
Am I just correct? Yeah, this is new language for
300
us.
seconds ago, I didn't know
Yeah,
what
I
this
didn't know what it
Yeah,
was either,
so that's
yeah.
fine. And I appreciate the urgency and this, want to keep it going, but I think we owe it to the property owners to say, hey, let's see what this Plan B is, so they can have some input on it.
And I see a lot of shaking heads out there going, yes. I see a lot of yeses. They
I
would
know
like
you
to see
didn't like
that.
what I just said, but that's.
I'm not a huge fan, but it's you're definitely your ordinance for sure. And you got to be comfortable with it. So I'm
Yep.
here to do at your pleasure.
Yep.
What's else?
Council, what other,
Councilmember Green. Okay, I have, we're going to jump to the other side for a minute.
The other
Over by Dillman and Upton, over on Ludlow Woodward, which is up higher. So what
where it
worries,
bends,
The orange property, right?
right there.
I guess what worries me a lot as
Right there.
far as,
The orange triangle south of Woodward,
Right
that
there.
one. Yep.
yeah. Yeah, there, and there, okay. What worries me is that sometimes I feel like it looks like we are making decisions for one parcel. And what concerns me is we've got Dillman and Upton, which is no longer Dillman and Upton, but I'll call them that forever. So Solaronics was I-1, it went to RM1. Eagles Club is I-1, it's going to L1. The DPW was I-1, and it's going to multifamily residential, and Dillman is IL, and it's going to RM1. So I'm confused. So the area I'm talking about, yeah, it goes right up to the J.C. Field. So it's all, that little area is, got all these different classifications, and honestly, we changed Solaronics to fit the building project that was gonna go there, and I can question that we made that decision, but we did. And so now I don't know why would we make DPW and, for future residential, especially DPW, that building was pretty costly. I can't imagine we're planning for that to somehow be multi-use, whatever I just said, multifamily residential. So just curious on the thought there.
I think if you take a step back, the main objective here is to try to get a series of uses that are more consistent with its location on the edge of a residential district, right? So to the degree that we can minimize the industrial and other commercial type uses in this area, the more appropriate. I think if you look at the DPW, for instance, I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but public facilities are probably permitted in some way in a residential district. Municipal facilities are probably allowed either as a conditional use or something in a residential district because they frequently have to be located, fire stations and so forth have to be located throughout the city. So the idea is, okay, what happens if for some reason you relocate the DPW facility someplace? Right?
After the $3 million.
After the $3 million, yeah.
Yeah, I get it, but we have to think in those terms, okay? Because it does happen, the DPW goes away. What is the next user of the property gonna ask for? industrial. Well, it's been industrial all these years, why can't we use it for industrial? So I know it might seem absurd, given the investment that you guys have made, but I think it's a reasonable approach to protect to protect the character of that area.
Okay, one more question, and then I'm going to let everybody else take it from here. The Dairy Queen down, which is like further down this way, Romeo Road, Albertson, over here, Albertson, okay. So there, from the Dairy Queen down, if I'm reading this right, is going from B1 to MU. And it's like the Dairy Queen, a little strip mall, an exercise facility that goes up to actually to La Pumas. Why is that change happening?
It's to increase the value of the property and in a way that allows for investment in those properties. So it's not limited to the B1 uses. It allows a mix of uses so that the property owners could pursue, a 2-story building, a 3-story building with multiple uses on that site. So it's a way to encourage the type of investment that, and the type of projects that came out of the master plan. The master plan saw this area as something that had more than drive-through uses. It may have multiple story mixed use along Main Street. So this allows that to happen. It doesn't require it to happen, but it allows it to happen.
Okay, so, and that is very concerning to me, so kind of all the things I talked about, I have concerns, and I have others, but we're gonna.
No, go ahead.
No, punt it
No,
down,
you're
keep
doing
going,
good.
let other
Okay.
people, yeah.
Councilmember Trent, do you have something?
I just had a question based on the DPW designation change. So does that become a Category B nonconformity?
No.
How many, I guess that's when you'll explain when it becomes a Category B nonconformity designation.
Yeah, like I
does
said,
every
I
building
think
you-
public facilities are allowed in residential
Yeah,
districts, so I think
yeah,
that one's
okay,
fine. But we'll go and look and create criteria for the Class B.
I see.
Non-conforming, which ones fit, which ones don't, which ones we want to be more aggressive. The Class A would be more aggressive, the Class B would be less so.
Well, I have a question about going back to South Street, but it's on the other side of the river, so I guess you'd say it's near Mill Street, behind.
340.
That's perfect.
It's
yeah.
340 Mill Street,
340 Mill Street.
the two plots there.
Oh, okay, 340 Mill Street. Yes.
I have the same question, so that's why I'm helping you with the, sure, I can throw it out there. So 340 Mill Street, it's 2 large parcels. Couple questions there. One, it is a smaller section of the parcel that I would think it's due to its proximity to the river, probably not buildable.
It's Suave's piece.
Suave's.
No, that's.
It's in the
No, you're
purple.
right, you were
It's-
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
keep
no,
going
you
to the
weren't,
left.
nope, you're right, yep.
Keep going back to the
Oh,
left.
yeah.
Up to the right.
No,
Sorry,
Pull it to the right.
yeah, hot, cold,
yep,
Goes right there.
right
here?
there.
yep.
Yep.
One in-
Yep.
Okay.
So on a map that we were provided, it shows the 2 different parcels in red. The river was reconstructed here, there were a lot of trees removed. The property owner has expressed some concerns about it changing to mixed use. It is a special project designation around the entire thing. I guess my question too really is, one is, what could be built on the thin parcel right next to the river? What type of structure? Because I'm pretty sure that would be in a 100-year floodplain. And then secondly, what other consideration should we be looking at with this regarding the park development they have already done?
So, as far as what uses could go on here, under the proposed mixed-use
Yep.
designation, as it relates to the floodplain? Is that the question?
Twofold, the floodplain as well as mixed use with a special project.
Okay, so with respect to the floodplain, that's pretty much outside the city's hands. You gotta comply with whatever, federal requirements there are. So you might have to build the first habitable space above the floodplain. There's different things that come into play. What kind of uses could you do on there under the mixed use? You could do commercial, residential, residential over commercial. You could do parking on the first floor as long as there's probably a liner building or something like that along the front. Those are the kind of uses that are anticipated in the proposed mixed-use zoning district and the master plan. So does that help?
I think so. And I guess the other thing is, there had been significant trees that were removed from this site. Is there anything that we should be considering in this rezoning regarding that?
I would rely on the city's approach to preserving trees on development properties.
City manager?
Yeah, that's a separate issue. We have a letter of credit for $782,000 for the trees. They can't get out of that no matter what it's zoned. So that's a covenant between us and them. So that was done when their site plan got approved. And I think I told Cindy, they had $1.2 million for the trees planted on the plan that was approved in 2012. So we'll deal with that when they come here. But when Tom was here, Tom Turnbull from Suave, they don't like the fact that we could tell them to go, have the opportunity to tell them to go to mixed use. They just want flat out multiple family, they're like zone it to multiple family. They have a special project on there. They could make that case during the special project discussion. Maybe we don't want all apartments there. After everybody else builds apartments in this town, that might not be the highest and best use. So we defend mixed use on that property. And they should be comfortable with that because they have that special project designation that they can try to make their case for just a sole source of multiple family at that time. So we're comfortable with that.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Councilmember Trent, and then I want to get a couple more from council, and then I want to make sure we hear from the public. So, Councilmember Trent.
Yeah, just adding to that, if it's special project, because it went through approvals, then does that override its rezoning it?
Yep.
For mixed use, that's what you're saying, so that
Okay, so
override its rezoning?
they're
it
asking us
For
not
mixed
to.
use, that's what you're saying, so.
Like John made, when we had our planning meeting together with the city council, that's a very unique tool to Rochester. It's a powerful tool for both of us. We sat with Bashir and his son this week, and we tried to comfort him on South Street where he talked about, hey, I can't, I'm gonna speak for you, Bashir, if I can. I understand I have the ability to ask to expand my shop, but what I don't like is under special project, you have the right to say no. That's a little discerning to him. Like, if you don't like what I'm doing, it's hard for me to explain to you why this was my long-term plan to build there. It's the same argument, we talked about this, that Suave has. You didn't build when you had the opportunity to build, and times are changing. This is different than Bashir's now. We're going to reevaluate this property, Mosherry's property that he never built on, the Overlook.
Okay,
Things could change by then, so.
got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council members have questions before we open the
Go to
public hearing?
And we can come back. I'll just do one after.
Councilmember King.
Yeah, I do. Thank you for addressing the RTAC. That was a lot of my questions, but I did want to go specifically, I want to understand a couple more specific things. Downtown Edge 1, the section that abuts Walnut and Pine, I was looking for it in the language because somebody had reached out to me specifically about this, attorney that represents some of the property owners, and they were concerned that this change, next block.
Went to CBD to T, right?
I think it's the next block up, where it's Downtown Edge.
You met with them, John, yeah. Eugenia's and those guys.
Right here, this is Downtown Edge 1, right?
Here, yeah.
The red.
So would this change, because I couldn't find it in the language, but would it prevent somebody from putting an exit onto Pine?
In the downtown edge, no. I think that language is in the transition district. I think it's a transition district that has.
Is that the,
That,
that's not the blue.
it's
That's
the
the purple.
purple here.
It's okay.
Yeah, the
It's
purple
transition
is
district,
all,
yeah.
is all T
They're
now.
adjacent to
That
those
whole
edges.
area is T,
Because they're, okay.
yeah. And it was CBT, so it's now T.
Okay. I also was looking at Downtown Edge 1. There was some language in there that was really confusing to me, and I know we're looking at the map, but we're also, the request also to do the zoning, right? And so I got a little detailed, nuanced on some wording, and I just want to find this one real quick, because this was confusing me.
It's got to be one of those with the little yellow tabbies on it.
There's a lot of
There's a
yellow
lot of yellow
tabs,
tabs
yeah.
on there.
It does. Okay, I'm almost there. Sorry.
Well, even if you
So-
could just
so-
explain those.
It says, oh yeah, it says, so downtown Edge 1, there's a few things here. So it says we want to discourage, okay, so,
And this is
to
downtown
encourage
Edge 1.
blah, blah, blah. But not limited, automotive-related service and repair, muffler shops, tire stores, quick body. So it says like we want to discourage these, I think, but it doesn't necessarily say, the way it's written, it doesn't necessarily, can you not do them?
I'm sorry, which district are you?
Downtown Edge 1, and the intent,
In the intent section.
yeah. So we want to encourage certain things, and then it says such as, but not limited, and it lists a number of like the auto body, auto repair. And so I'm wondering, is this does that preclude them from being there?
To encourage and enhance pedestrian circulation, shopping, safety, and convenience, certain uses are prohibited which tend to break up and disrupt the intensive concentration of pedestrian-oriented uses such as but not limited to auto uses.
So it would prohibit?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And then, the setbacks, we're proposing 0 setbacks in downtown Edge 1, is that correct?
Yeah.
So is there anything in downtown Edge 1 that has 0 setbacks today?
So there are provisions in the ordinance that you can use the predominant setback line. So you would use whatever that was, whatever the predominant building setback is along that block currently.
Okay, so even though it says 0 setbacks, it wouldn't really be 0 setbacks?
In that, yes, it sounds counterintuitive, but that exists in multiple districts that you have.
I didn't see it say the prominent
Is that
setback
language
line.
that should be
It's
added,
probably
or
in
is
the-
it
No, I
assumed?
think it's,
It's in the footnotes, I think. of
it's in the
schedule
footnotes
regulation.
of the schedule.
So there's another section with all the setbacks and there's footnotes.
Right,
for
the one
new
that has the
ones, and
blues.
It's in that section, sir, so it'd be a chart that shows setbacks and things, so.
There was a
Okay.
lot of
Gives the planning
It's,
commission
it's a lot to go through. I mean,
130 pages worth
you
of
know,
something.
I've gone through the planning commission with this
Okay,
for
it's in
several
the, it was
months.
in the latter section
Yes.
on the setbacks? Okay. And then, sorry, my question before, it was actually downtown Edge too, because the way that it reads in intent, it says extensive automotive uses are not appropriate for this area. However, may be considered in a very limited area on the east side of Main Street along the south border of the district based on existing land use patterns. So that is specifically, I think, where the classic appreciation location is, based on the, so is that saying like, you're not allowed to have them, but we're gonna give some limited,
Nick, can you,
Yeah, I don't-
any idea what?
Yeah, I don't think class appreciation, I think that's still in industrial, light industrial, but.
Yeah, because that's
It's a-
down
it was a
under the
collision
bridge.
shop, yeah. John, pull that.
I think
back.
it's referring to
it's
Dwayne's.
a downtown Edge
Well-
too.
But let's go down farther down Main Street towards Second and see where downtown edge is. I don't think it's class appreciation.
It is.
The purple?
That-
No, it's the red. So
that-
it's red above Mill Street, John. Look right to the right.
Yep, that one at Mill Street there.
That's.
This is now.
No, bottom one.
Yeah, that's quick
That's
pick.
just-
Nope, to the right. Down, yes, that property. That is, I believe, classic appreciation, correct? Yeah, so the way this says, it says extensive automotive uses are not appropriate for this area. However, may be considered in a very limited area on the east side of Main Street along the south border of the district based on existing land use patterns. So is it allowed or is it not allowed?
I'm not in favor of that language. I would recommend you take that out right now because no one knows what that means, just to your question.
Well, if we don't take it out, he's okay,
Well,
potentially.
but it also opens the door to other things you may not want. So I would put that in the same category as Class B non-conforming provision.
See, a lot of this, the trouble for all of us, and this is, we talked about South Street, one of the provisions, again, John Jackson McKenna did not write this. This was
I know.
Beckett and Rader. So John's taking one for the team here. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge, everybody knows
Yeah.
that John had to interpret what another consultant did
Yeah.
years ago. So he's been doing a great job. But Councilwoman point, all the existing, that was where they came from, that was their soft way out of it to say, hey, the existing land use patterns are collision shop, it's Greg's place, things like that. So based on that, you could make your case. But to John's point, if they went away, do we really want those in these mixed-use areas? If Corey went away from Firestone, do you want another heavy repair shop on Main Street, taking Main Street Plaza down? That's something you have to decide. They can stay, and to Corey's point from Firestone was, I can't expand anymore, but that would come with, they can expand. He could take that whole block and turn it into Firestone if we wanted. And we know for what he does for us, the people come there, they go to shops, it's on a case-by-case basis. That's where the non-conforming use language change wouldn't just be for industrial, right? It would be for any non-conforming use in the whole zoning classifications, which would help a Corey in this case. So it's super complicated based on all these changes, but like John said, we can't get them all exactly right. But based on existing land uses, they did their best to try to squeeze them in, if that makes sense.
So that took me to my next two, because I wanted to ask about B1 and CBD, specifically having to do with the auto shops, Rochester Hills Tire and Goodyear. Each is in a different one, one's in B1, one's in CBD. It looks like based on the read, it doesn't meet the current ordinance, that they are currently
Yeah, it's
non-conforming?
probably an existing non-conforming.
So we're not proposing, I know, but they recently expanded, so I don't know, that was confusing to me.
The existing zone, I couldn't tell you that. I don't know that.
The one in the CBD
The one in
expanded or
the one in
B1 expanded?
B1.
I think you can have repair shops in B1. I'll have to pull that up.
Let me find B1 here.
Probably.
So, so it does allow showroom for new automobiles and other vehicles and ancillary service garage, but then there's special, it's conditional use.
That's what I thought.
Well, conditional use says outdoor sales of secondhand automobile, trucks, trailers, other vehicles. No major repair or major refurbishment shall be permitted on the lot. Then it goes on to say in item 4, gasoline auto service stations for sale of gasoline, oil, minor accessories, minor repairs, but not including body repair, engine rebuilding, rust proofing, similar activities may be in the B1 district, subject to the following. All repairs within a closed building, so maybe that's why it's allowed. No vehicles awaiting repair shall remain on site more than 72 hours.
Well, what's the scope
already
of the work
non-conforming.
that they're
Yeah, no,
doing?
he's not a collision shop, he's just a service store.
Repair.
That's why he was allowed to go in there under
Okay.
exactly what you
Because it's
said.
service?
Yes. If he was doing
So
body
it's a
work
current
or anything like that,
non-conforming.
then he's a currently
But they're
non-conforming.
moving it
But
to
is it, I guess I
CBD.
don't know, is it non-conforming or is it,
Oh, no.
allowed.
Corey's existing property
because
under
it's
our.
an ancillary service garage?
Exactly.
So I think the question is, why is it going to CBD? I'm confused.
So, yeah, it's proposed to move from B1 to CBD
Right.
because they're expanding basically CBD by a block.
But CBD
On the
will
map.
not allow them to continue to do what they do.
It'd be non-conforming.
Existing
They're already
non-conforming.
non-conforming. They're
Existing
gonna go to-
non-conforming.
No, it's allowed because they're considered an ancillary service garage, not a auto body repair.
Right, so he's currently conforming, it would make him non-conforming. We'd go back to John's Class B non-conforming situation again.
You have
Okay.
a domino
Okay,
effect.
this is where,
Domino, yep.
we have
All
a
right,
lot of
so,
chatter today.
yeah, so let's go to Mayor Pro Tem Vixen.
Yeah, I have two comments. I mean, one, a lot of the stuff like Councilmember Jones said, I mean, I hate to say this because I know we've been at it. To me, we're nowhere near being done with this. We need to go issue by issue, I guess, and.
So you would like a work session for council?
I would
Okay.
like to make a motion for a work
Yeah, I mean,
session.
Okay.
this-
That needs to
I mean,
happen.
Yeah,
And
I mean, we need to go.
Councilmember King just a
It
second.
appears to me that we need to go issue by issue and decide this because all of us are just making this up.
And
as
I
we
still
go.
have another
And
10
then,
to
and then
do.
the question I had about the CBD, to the 3 stories, I'm reading out here, I was part of it, but I don't remember that being an issue. Why are we going to 3 stories? That's the number one question.
In 2023.
Yeah, you showed when it was voted on and stuff, but what was the reasoning? Because I don't think there's.
So how long ago? It was a while ago, right?
2023,
So as I
Planning
recall,
Commission voted on
we
it.
had people that wanted to keep it at 2 stories. And we had people on the commission at that time that wanted it to go 3 stories. So we landed at, let's do 3 stories subject to conditional use approval, so it had to be evaluated through the special exception process, plus we had additional standards in there too that would address some of the concerns about massing right on Main Street. So that was the conversation that I recall. It was sort of not 3 by right, but some other way to allow it in certain circumstances.
Because, I mean, that's one thing, we've always protected the downtown, and to me, this is a slippery slope away from that.
So did that go through
So,
all approvals? That's a done deal.
No, it just went through.
It's a done deal.
Nothing's done.
Decided.
It was just language reviewed by planning.
Okay, because they voted on it.
They,
Plan.
back in
To never move
2023.
it forward.
In
Yeah.
To move it
2023.
forward, never came to city.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it would have to go to city council.
Okay, so it sounds like, council, it sounds like we would like to have a separate work session on this, so we want to go through our list of items. So I don't think we need a motion to do that, so we'll just get that scheduled. It'll probably be like not a Monday night, another night. But now I really want to hear from the public. There's a lot of people who are here who obviously want to share with us their concerns and their thoughts about their properties. So if you would like to comment on the future land use map and zoning changes, please approach. And let's start with Tony, since you started already. So let's, yeah, La Puma, take 2.
Okay, should I start from the beginning, or?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Because we got to hear it in context.
Okay.
We're,
You want me to say my name, or it doesn't matter?
Yes.
Tony La Puma. I own the property at 277 and 289 South Street on the north side in its zone heavy industrial. And also on 394 and 398, I own those 2 parcels. And I own the vacant parcel next to Rewald's building on South Street east of that. I'm on South Street every day, and I always look at the street, and I always say, this is a diamond in the rough. The new zoning poses serious challenges because most of the existing buildings are antiques, making them very difficult or undesirable to place with art tech. The lot sizes are too small to accommodate new construction while providing adequate parking now required by code, which limits development potential. In addition, several properties, mine is one, sit on a 100-year floodplain where rebuilding is restricted or even prohibited if a structure is damaged or destroyed. Another major concern brought to my attention, if a property sits vacant for 6 months, we lose our industrial zoning. In my opinion, this will hurt property values severely. My vision for South Street is expand the commercial zoning in order to create new opportunities for growth, attract a wider variety of businesses, and increase the overall vitality of the area. By allowing more flexibility for commercial development, South Street can become a stronger economic hub that supports local businesses. I also own the Watson's, the furniture store on North Main, and I had that building up for rent. And I had carpet stores, furniture makers, furniture stores, bike shop, they all wanted to rent this place, but we don't have the buildings on Main Street with that amount of square footage that they need. So I think we should look on expanding the commercial. Nancy, you brought up that they changed the commercial to 25%.
Yeah, that's what we just passed a couple minutes ago. 25% retail, so that's an accessory use. So if you have a 10,000 square foot building, you can have 25,000 square feet retail.
Why are you limiting it?
2,500.
Why are you limiting it to 25%?
Well, that was what was just passed, but
Yeah.
the discussion around that was, this is the starting point,
Yeah.
and it's similar to other accessory
Yeah.
uses, 25%. Oh, and I'm not supposed to be commenting. This is your public comment.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to dialogue,
But
sorry.
I can envision microbreweries down there. That street could be a hot street. We just have to take time. And that's my comment for the night. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. Who else would like to make a public comment? And just as a reminder, this is public comment. This is your opportunity to talk. We are not supposed to comment. We are not supposed to debate. We really aren't supposed to even answer questions, so I know that sometimes is a little confusing. It really is so that you feel free to make your public comments, and we want to hear you.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Saad Rassam, 111 South Street, Action 1 Automotive. I'm just going to read off what I wrote up a few things here in the past couple weeks or week that we've since talked. A vote for zoning change on South Street is a vote to destroy all the mom and pop businesses that have been operating for decades. We see no immediate or long-term gains by changing the zoning to research and development. The businesses that are affected by this zoning change are vital businesses that are needed and have been operating since the early 50s on South Street, and has always been South Street, the industrial mecca for the city of Rochester. When we did our research, we found most of the research and development areas are being used for data centers. In order to have data centers, you need substations, because they're mostly used for AI systems nowadays. It requires very big, bulky warehouses. Not only that, but in order to run any of those data centers in the city, they're going to need their own power plant, substation. There's not enough room or power in the city of Rochester to handle that. As a business owner, resident of Rochester and Rochester Hills, we've been striving to keep the river clean for decades. It started with building our new building back in 1999, when we spent an extra $300,000 to Mavis Engineering to install a storm retention system that would take all the storm water, clean it up, separate it, and release it back. None of those other buildings, including the two brand new office buildings that were built in the past years, are required to do this. We did this voluntarily. We did this voluntarily because our kids, my family, we've been, since day one of going back in South Street when we opened up back in 1990, you know, we made it a thing on every Sunday. Me and my old man would go and clean up the river, pick up, there's parts, garbage, cans, everything. We would, every single Sunday, go up, and me and my sister and a couple other family members and him, we would crawl up and go up and clean this up. Sorry. So because of my kids, my family, and other families that like to use the natural resources in the Clinton River, bringing people and businesses that have no vested interest in the city, other than the business that they work in, will not strive to keep this river clean. At this time, I propose to you that you would leave the industrial zoning or existing zoning on South Street alone, but add provisioning saying it could be used as a research development. Something that would make existing people happy, or also give you the prospects of people coming in to do research and development, even though, which to be honest with you, I don't think that will happen for at least another 10 to 20 years. Our city doesn't have the room able to take on these projects. Like I said, a vote to change the zoning to vote to destroy the businesses that have been operating on South Street for decades. I understand you guys didn't make this decision. You guys are just being thrown into this. We're all just trying to do the right thing here, and that's all we're asking you to do here. Just do the right thing. And so thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Who else would like to make some comments?
Pat Kane, 817, just something a little different than what they're going to tell you about. I'm going to tell you about, we don't need another coffee shop someplace, because there's tons of places to buy coffee on Main Street, University, and Walnut Street. You can only drink so much coffee. Coffee does not bring in what we want here, which is the services. Those automobile industries, these people in service, from Firestone to Acton to Classic Car to Gary's Collision, we need them. If you push them out by zoning and make it impossible for them to expand at times when they're going to need to, because you're attracting all these people with the dense building that we have, you're going to send us to another city and another community to pay. Not here. Those companies employ a lot of local people, skilled people, not somebody that's going to hand you a latte. A skill that is very much needed today. They are paid livable wages. Those employees are well taken care of. And many of them live in this community and then reinvest in the community. Without them, you push us out for services. You inconvenience us. Many of them is generational wealth. We keep trying to tell you that. When a company's been here, people in the business that bring those skills, 40 years, 50 years, father, son, his kids. We, as residents, don't want to lose that. And you talk about protecting the environment and the river. Well, gosh darn it, if all these other towns can, we can. And we have been. Floodplain, well, it's my understanding that a floodplain is something that Michigan and other people tell you is 100 years. But I will tell you this, Look what we have built on floodplains right now. I believe the post office, the library, the Royal Park, they are on floodplains. Not a problem. So we don't want to hinder the development. We don't want to hinder their livelihoods. We don't want them to have insurance problems. We don't want them to have problems that they can't expand maybe in the future. We don't want to push them out. We want to protect them. So that is going to be a very difficult thing for you to come to terms with. But as a resident, I want those guys here. They've taken care of us, they've taken care of our community, and we're not going to push them out because someone decides, oh, we want tech, we want this. No, we don't. Who's going to fix our stuff, our cars? I've used all those services in the past couple of years, and I will continue to use them. And before that, I used them when I learned to drive. Parent, son, whatever. So that is a very tricky thing, but we need to keep them and their families and the tax base and the services, because that keeps us as residents happy.
Thank you.
Hello there.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Bashar Iwas. I am Saad's dad, and we've been going through this and doing a lot of research because I have read the RTEC development and all of that. So I'm just going to read off this to you, and then if you have any questions, please let me know. I also like to thank John. I think I want to correct the record. John wasn't, we thought he was Jeremy, but it was John that asked us to leave the city at one time. With having said that, let's go on with this. Ladies and gentlemen, in the audience and on the board, I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to try to save our beloved South Street from this devastating zoning change. My name is Bashar Iwas. I own 111 South Street, also known as Action 1 Automotive and Towing, and 135 South Street, which is the adjacent lot that we bought years back and made payments for it until we paid it off, in hopes that we could build a sister shop or add to our existing shop to be able to handle the amount of people moving into our beautiful city of Rochester. I don't want to bore you with the whole history. My son already did that about Action 1 Automotive and Towing. He already explained all that. Our history, but what I am going to do is rather explain that the principal uses in the RTEC district does not fit on South Street. I will be giving you some examples. I'm not going to do a lot because we'll be here all night. But let's start with what it says right into our sheets. RTEC district. It's intended to accommodate uses such as research, testing, manufacturing, packaging, or technology-related activities. As well as we all know, that's just another word for AI data processing center. That's the new fab now, okay? They require lots of power to run. There's not enough room on the north side of South Street to do so. Not only that, but the city of Rochester does not have enough power to run these data centers. Go into the next permitted use, which is credit unions, banks, and financial institutions. I have yet to see one credit union or bank or a financial institution that wants to be on a side road. They all strive to be on major roads. They do traffic studies to make sure it's highly traveled major road and make sure that there can be a drive-through allowed. That's how they set their sights on a particular property. Going over to the school, college, or learning institutions and training centers. We all know Rochester Christian College here in the area, and it's been here for many, many years. Matter of fact, my 12-year-old wants to go to that college, and I'm grateful for that. But as you guys know, the campus is almost a quarter mile big. We don't have that room on South Street or north side of South Street to be able to even do that development. Ladies and gentlemen, I can sit here and tackle every permitted use on that RTEC district, and I can explain to you why it cannot be used here. We probably don't have the time or willing to sit and listen to me say all that, but I am willing, if you are willing. I have done my research. I just wish the engineering firm did the same, but I can't tell you this, they have no vested interest in this city. They just are paid engineering firms that want to throw whatever the new fob is. Right now, it's research and development. You're not the only city that's being hit with this. All cities are talking about research and development. A lot of city members have told me, Bashar, what are you worried about? Your grandfathered in. I don't know if you guys know the whole story of Mr. Koya, which his son is in the audience tonight, which was a highly decorated officer in the Korean War, and his wife was a historical librarian that used to live right next door to South Street, our shop. When their house burned down, those poor people could not rebuild the house because it was burnt. Therefore, the grandfather clause did not affect them at all. Here these guys, these poor guys are sitting there, where they can't build a house because the grandfather law didn't work for them. I'm worried that that's gonna happen, the same thing to us, after we put our hard-earned money in blood and tears. I remember days where I didn't have money to feed my family, but I had to make sure I had to pay the people that worked for me. Now, this is a long time ago, but I remember those days. This is how Saad grew up, watching this. And then for us to lose our zoning, and we don't know if they're gonna make it any better, okay? What I'll ask you right now, guys, is reconsider this, really reconsider it. I don't think these research and developments, we don't have enough room on that street to have these big buildings, okay? I ask you, please reconsider. And with that, I yield. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
How you guys doing?
Good, thank you for coming back again.
My name's Edward Coyle, and glad to see you guys again. Do you mind pulling up that picture of South Street you had on the river again that you had earlier?
Yeah, Jeremy can come help you with that. Someone who can drive the mouse here.
I'm talking from the heart here.
Could you state your name again and your
My name's
address?
Edward Coyle. I lived on 203 South Street since I was a kid. Actually, the picture right there, this lot right there, that's mine. Probably
Yep.
one of the biggest ones on South Street.
I know which one it is.
It wasn't just my dad's, it was my grandpa's too.
If you could approach the mic so that the people at home can hear you.
I'm sorry, it wasn't, I'm sorry, I'm just heartbroken. My house burnt down and it was, 3-generation house and I'm crushed by it. But that land, it's part of me. I've cut that since I was 10 years old, as my dad did, as my grandpa did. We lived here for over 100 years. Is there anyone here that's lived here for over 100 years? Anyone? And now you're telling me I can't live on my property again anymore. You see, I can't live on my property anymore. I got it, Nick. I said, no, you can't build a house back here. It's all industrial now. I said, okay, I can play the game. Here's a 40 by 60 commercial building with a penthouse on top. No, you can't live there. There's a penthouse, there's a living quarters there. Now, I'm just asking Nancy, you seem fair to me. I think you're a good mayor. And you seem fair to me. I'm saying, we've lived here for 100 years, and now you're telling me I can't live here anymore. And to me, it's like my grandpa, before he lived in Detroit, it got too expensive for my grandpa to live in Detroit anymore. That's why he moved way out here to the country to get a foreign place. And now you pushing me out of here. I mean, to me, it just doesn't seem fair. And there's a whole bunch of issues I can go about, a whole bunch of other things. But, I mean, does it seem fair to anybody here? I mean, I'm going to ask anybody. This is popular. I'm involved with. I'm a river kid. I'm a river kid. I was in every floatable bowl where there was. This probably most people here don't remember the floatable bowls, but I was here. I'm a river kid. I grew up in that land. That land is part of me. I can't leave it. I'm never going to sell it. I'm never. It's part of me. But now I can't live on my land that my dad owned. My dad died at 92 years back. My grandpa bought way back when. To me, it's just. I'm heartbroken. Now I can't live on my property that we've owned for over 100 years. I just want to see, does that seem fair to anybody here? I mean, I'll play the game if you want me to build a building when you want me to build it, but I want to live on my property.
Yeah, so this is public comment, so this is where you get to talk, and we don't get to answer. We don't get to answer. You get to talk and we don't get to answer, so.
Okay, but I'm just, all right, I'm just saying,
Who answers this then? I mean, what do we?
So we hear you. What I can tell you is we hear you, and what you heard council say is, we've got more work to do.
Because I've tried multiple times to get building permits to build on the property I've owned for 100 years. But no, you can't live there. I just want to make sense. We've been here longer than, I bet there's not one person in this house, not one person in here has lived here longer than my family. I'll guarantee you there's not one person here.
You get the record.
There's pictures of the barn that I'm sitting in right now, where we have pictures of horses, on one side and buggy on the other side.
And we still have our big barn there.
And that's still there today.
I mean,
Yeah.
so like, what do we do?
Yeah, so Nick, we know how to reach them, right? Okay, all right.
Well, that's my public statement. I mean, I'm heart crushed. I lost, the house is like a museum. When the house burnt down, I was crushed. I've been depressed ever since. But just the fact that there's no way I can live back on the property I've owned forever. I still own, but we pay taxes on this property over 100 years, and we're not allowed to live there? It just doesn't seem fair to me.
So then you'll give us a call and you'll give us an answer? Okay.
Thank you.
guys. Have a
Thank
good day.
you. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
He's upset. I mean, we wanted to always live there, you know?
Yeah. Who else would like to make some public comments tonight? We want to make sure everyone has an opportunity.
Hi, my name's Corey Kaidan. I'm at Rochester Hills Tire at 510 North Main and 528 North Main. Council King, you were reading one of the part of,
B1, I think, which is your current zoning.
yeah, could you read that again?
Can I
If
do
you wouldn't
that?
mind, is that possible? I can't have you guys
Nancy,
speak.
am I allowed?
My
You can
goodness,
read
okay.
it. You can read it.
My point was that without even, you know.
Make your voice sound deep like it's Corey's.
I've got it. B1, showroom for sales of new automobiles and other vehicles and ancillary service garage.
And there was a part.
There's some conditional uses that say, like outdoor secondhand of automobiles, trucks, trailers, but it says no major repair or major refurbishment shall be permitted. And then there's some other conditional uses around gasoline auto service stations, but also that not including body repair, engine rebuilding, rust-proof, and similar activities.
Where was the part that it talked about where it would interfere with pedestrian?
It's to encourage.
I think that was the downtown edge one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think that one.
It doesn't apply to your.
Doesn't apply. My point of that is, guys, the amount of people that come into our store and then go downtown and bother other businesses, what we take care of with these people that are coming in from out of town, from all the great light shows, everything else that goes on in town. Every week, there's somebody that needs that emergency help, and we deliver that. Day in and day out. And to pull it from the community, like Mrs. Kane said, you're stripping stuff from your own self. And I understand it's different communities and stuff like that, but even for those that are not here that need to hear this, you're taking it away from yourself. You're taking something great away. And I'm not the only one. There's many reasons and other businesses and new things that are gonna come with our new world. I support that. I wanna see that. If you wanna stand out as a city and you wanna give something, when you take a repair facility that puts into the community and delivers for the community, like I do, and the other gentlemen that are in this room, yeah, granted, I'm on the main street. We shine a lot brighter. We work and dig and grind just as hard as the other gentlemen. And we're there daily to do it. Just like you guys were when COVID hit. Imagine this, guys. October of 2019, I took over that store. When did COVID shut down?
March.
March it shut down. I was 5 months into owning my own business, and the world shut down. I had 15 guys, and I told these guys, I'll be here. If you don't feel safe, don't come in. But I'll be here. And they understood that. Some of them stayed home because of things that they needed to protect their family, and the others that stayed are still there now. And all the ones that came back when I asked, I think it was 3 months later, 2 months later, we couldn't even keep up. Because people needed us. We're needed now just as much then, to this day. I walk into that building at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 o'clock, I got people sitting at that front door. 5 a.m. We open at 8. I'm there daily at 7 a.m. to open that door so whomever can get off to work and be there on time and tell me what's going on instead of writing a letter, instead of getting on the phone or texting. Daily, 6 days a week. And I'm telling you, I could do it 7 days a week, but we need a break. That is no joke.
We did it 15 years.
Hats off to you.
Can we do
No.
My body's broke.
You know, so we bring a lot to the community. Whether you're off Main Street or you're on Main Street, there's a lot to be said for a repair facility. I get that it's not an outcome or a build of a new city plan, but you take that convenience out. Take that cell phone out of your hand. Put that thing down for 3 months. Take repair out of the main city where somebody can't go for a walk while their car is getting worked on. Take a convenience like that away. That puts us on the block, on the map, as a different city. We don't need to follow suit because all these other cities are doing it, or they're starting to build 3-story buildings where maybe the people that live in behind them don't want to look and see that. We bring something to this town, and we always will, and I'll never stop doing that. So I ask that everybody reconsiders this zoning, period. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Corey. So good to hear from all of you. I see a few more faces that haven't ventured up to the microphone. Is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment? Please come up.
Sure, no one knows me around here, but I don't even know whether I should be speaking. I don't know all the rules here, but Corey and me.
What's your name, sir?
Oh, my name is Sanjay
Sanjay.
Khetropal. Corey and me, when he mentioned the 2019, that's when we took over that business. Corey runs the show. I'm somewhere in the back. The only reason I've come to talk, I don't live in Rochester Hills or Rochester. The only reason I've come to talk, and I don't know all the details, I've just been hearing what's been said. I've lost count. I'm 45 years. I know I don't look that old. I've been 45 years in the computer business. We have a pretty big operation right now, 200 employees. I know a few things. This will take forever, but I'll just give you the bottom line. You can take it, leave it, whatever. I know all about AI, I know all about data centers, I know many things. A data center has to be a certain size, and that size is not small, for it to be even viable. And with the amount of data centers going up, because we are in this beautiful bubble as we speak, which will last for a while, but you'll find out the back end of that if any of you were involved in some way with the dot-com bubble. Again, I'm just talking, okay? You guys, unless you have, you want to know what a data center looks, just go and read about Loudoun County in Virginia. That is supposed to be ground zero for data centers. And just go look at the kind of infrastructure that has been built there, forget the data center. So just get some idea if that is where you are trying to go. I'm not saying don't go. I'm not saying anything. Just familiarize yourself a little bit with what you might get into if you go there. It'll boggle your mind. In fact, you'll be scared about the whole country. You're not going to get enough power.
We know that.
Water.
If those plans go through. So I'm just trying to give you some sense of what I've lived with. And remember, 45 years ago was when PCs first came into this world, and I've been there from ground zero. Literally ground zero. Meaning, I was a very low-paid programmer. And from there, through the corporate world and now the business world, I know a few things. Not just programming, not just computers. So I just wanted to give you some idea so that you can do some reading.
Thank you, Sanjay. Really appreciate your thoughts. Thank you. Any other public comments on this agenda item?
Greetings. My name is Greg Sweat. I own Classic Appreciation. I'm at 81 Mill Street. We own that building. And we've been there serving the community for 40 years in the area here. And I just have, this is kind of short because I have some concerns about this, obviously. I'm concerned about the longevity of our business and the sustainability, property value. I'm concerned about being non-conforming and not like to be. I know that sometimes, well, you can be non-conforming for quite a while and you're going to be okay. But yeah, you can't expand, you can't make anything better from that perspective anyway. I know when I saw the zoning proposal on here, and if for some reason our piece of property at 81 Mill Street, which was two pieces of property at one time, it was 81 and 91, is for some reason wanting to go to Downtown Edge 2. And that really concerned me. It's like, I can't understand why. The other things are multiple use, and that's what they want to go to. But it's funny how that piece of property wants to go to Downtown Edge 2, and that really seems instantly non-conforming, and they'd probably want to push somebody out. I really thought, well, you know what, somebody drew this up years ago, and they weren't really thinking about what's there and what this is. They were just kind of looking at a bird's eye view and said, oh, why don't we make that one burgundy instead of pink? And I just couldn't understand why. But that's my main concern is the zoning changes that are proposed down there. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of reason for it, even though I know progress has to move forward. And of course, you people do work real hard trying to make the city better all the time, and so do the council members before this. It's just, I don't see where this is making the city better for all of us that work there and employ people and service the people in the community around here. So I'm just wanting to voice my concerns.
Thank you, Greg. Anyone else this evening?
So did that get zoned our area? Did you guys just pass that tonight?
No, nothing has been passed regarding, or not even any votes regarding the future land use map and the zoning. So let me just say this, and we'll see if there's any other public comment. Let me just say this. I think as a council, this is probably the most important thing that we do as a body, is this master plan and the future land use map. Second, probably to our budget process. But this is incredibly important, and I think, it has gone through Planning Commission, and yes, this has been a long journey, but it's important that we get it right with as few as possible unintended consequences. And I feel like our role as the elected members, we know the hearts of our community, we know the businesses in our community, and so I'm happy that we're going to take the time and have this separate session and work through a lot of the details. Yes, we want to get this done, but we're going to keep on it, and again, do it to the best of our ability. Having said that, is there any other member here tonight that wants to make a public comment on this? Okay, and then there's no one online. Do we have someone online? Is Brian there? Okay. Brian, are there any callers on this? Okay. Sounds like no. Okay, so no action being taken on item B. So moving on, Councilmember King.
Real quick, Mayor, I was just going to clarify, the working session, it will be a public meeting, right?
Yes.
So if anybody wants to come and listen in or give feedback, they would be welcome to do so. It will be.
I don't think it's being that.
Oh, maybe not.
They can listen.
They can listen. They can
Okay,
listen.
we don't have, well, we always have public comment, right, at public meetings, or at our meetings?
We would have public comment, but it should be known that the intent is for
Yeah,
council.
we'd be working if.
But of course, we always want to hear public comment. But again, it's usually good to clarify this, the purpose of this meeting is for council to talk and deliberate.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we don't need to vote, we don't need to do anything. All right, moving on to section 9. This is consideration to approve a contract with ASI for $62,169.30 to review the directional city and DDA signs for repairs and replacement based on their condition. And I see Nick Schaefer, DPW Director, is ready to take us through this one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, this evening, we're looking to review and get approval to move forward with the wayfinding sign project throughout the city. You will see there's 3 categories, one being DDA, one being the city. That was discussed, that we did go through in the original budget process and in the workshop. So you'll see on the second page of the packet is those numbers. So we hit our target numbers that we were looking for, 34,000 DDA, 20,000 city. That additional 10,000 that you were seeing is for the additional signage that we are putting out relative to the microforest, skate park, community garden, Maple Grove. There will be one main sign that will be put at Wilcox and Woodward right by J.C. Field, directing people going to the back and up and through. There'll be another sign put at Scott Street Skate Park. That's where you see that additional pricing. That one sign that you see that's over $3,000, that is that main sign right at Woodward and Wilcox. So that's like the main artery of that signage and that wayfare going in. So that's why you see that cost is where it is on that one particular sign. So, yes, this evening we are looking for approval for the $32,015.37 for DDA, the $19,577.70 for city, and then the additional $10,576.23 for additional signage throughout the city.
Okay, so Nick, I know that, I think council has a few questions on this. From my part, I also have a few questions. I see that we didn't competitively bid this. I know that it is an existing source that has done the other signs.
Correct.
However, I still would like to see this competitively bid. In particular, I think Rochester Hills has a sign shop, a sign department that frequently does work for the city. I gotta believe they're pretty competitive for us. And also, I'm uncomfortable approving, authorizing the spend when we're not actually seeing the look of the physical signs and what we would be approving.
Yeah.
As an example, like, I know we talked at the parking committee about P for parking, adding some of those. In the packet, it still said older person commission, and I know it's the OPC. We need a new sign for the Lions Park. We need one for Community House in the park. So there's certain things that have been in my mind that I want to make sure get addressed with this action. So from my standpoint, I think there's still work that needs to be done on this.
So I guess I'm confused. What are all the pictures?
Yeah, exactly. It's in your packet. Every single sign is in your packet.
The pictures are in the packet.
Okay, but they say, the one in particular says older person
Well,
commission.
that might be one because Renee hadn't given us what we needed
Yes.
yet, but we know it's going to be older person's commission, so.
That's gonna be OPC plus 50 is what Renee is.
OPC Social and Activity Center.
Right, and if I may, Mayor, address, Rochester Sign Shop isn't a sign shop. They do directional signs and stuff. If we put this out to competitive bid, it'll be $500,000. This is the sole source, because, that's why we have a sole source part of our ordinance. They built these signs, and we need them replaced, not refabricated, they're redoing them all. So there's no advantage, and that's, when you have sole sources, because there shows no direct advantage. You'll set this back a year. If we don't want our signs fixed, that's fine, but, and then we take that chance of the price going up a lot higher. If this guy competitively bids against himself, basically. So we did this at city council during budget and finance. We explained this to everybody. We're using the company that fabricated them in 2012 and just retouching them up, so it's maintenance, really.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I agree. This should be bid. This is always all due respect, this is always the excuse not to bid. And ever since I've been on the city council, I've been for open bidding for contracts.
Yeah, I mean.
Councilmember Trent?
Well, I mean, if it's going to be $500,000, then we'll have the comfort of knowing that we're getting a really good deal. I mean, but no, I know. What? I mean, how long does it take to just say, here's the cost, is this competitive? I mean, and I understand that we talk about this as goals and objectives, but, I mean, the reason you are here is because then you need take a final approval on it. So to have it approved at goals and objectives, I just want to be clear, it doesn't mean that we're choosing this.
At goals and objectives, we talked about, we're going to the sign company. They came to us and said, it's an embarrassment, what are you going to do? We went through this all before, so we'll be glad to bid it out. We'll be glad to bid it out, just leave it at that. Nick, just pull it from the agenda and we're fine.
Okay. Council, any other comments? Councilmember Sage?
No.
No. Okay, thank you. Moving on to item B, consideration of a renewal of a contract. This is for Clinton River Watershed Council for Stormwater Education Services.
Correct, yes. Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a contract for Clinton River Watershed. Contract this will run through from 26 to 31. It'll be a 5-year. The approval for the $1,110 is for this past 6 months. That's why you see that kind of cut in half. And that additional $2,220 is for the year going forward.
And so this is an existing contract that we've done in the past.
And then you'll see in page 2, there's a 5% increase, no greater than 10. So we'll keep eyes on that moving forward. But yeah, this is Clinton River Watershed. It's a great program, and we get a lot of education out of it. So
sure do.
This one is a little bit more easier.
Councilmember Jones?
I just was going to ask you, just maybe to explain for the public what the education, just a little piece of, what is that about?
Exactly. So our MS4 is through the Eagle, so there's a lot of requirements, a lot of regulations that we have to make sure that we hit, and standards that we pretty much run by. With Clinton River Watershed, it gives us those, and it gives us education moving forward, and it's just a terrific partnership, really, more than anything.
So it's available to everyone? Or is it just your education you're getting?
Right, correct. Just through us, yeah.
Gotcha, it's through the city.
That's through the city.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Councilmember Trent?
I love the Clinton River Watershed Council. I think they do wonderful work.
They do.
So, yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve this.
Motion by Trent, support by Jones. Any other discussion? City Clerk?
Salvia.
Yes.
Vixen.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Sage.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item C is consideration of a special project approval. This is for 120 South Main. This is a request to schedule a public hearing for site plan review and facade change. City Manager.
Yes, so on Planning Commission, so 120 South Main is the old collision shop. So they went through the process. During that process, McKenna Vidya made a determination she wasn't comfortable with the use that was going in there as a permitted use. So we backpedaled, went to a special project. That adds time to this. The Planning Commission was very cognizant of that. It's like, speed this up as fast as you can. So we worked with the developer. We talked about a brick facade, a landscape buffer. They have submitted plans for those revisions in conjunction with what the Planning Commission wanted, but we still told them we have to set a public hearing. They're like, I thought that could be tonight, so we're trying to speed it up. So you don't have the plans in front of you. They will make that presentation at that meeting. We'll have the changes on it from the Planning Commission. So we thought to keep it moving, we'll ask to set the public hearing. That's all tonight. And, yeah, that's it.
And the applicant will be here, of course.
Absolutely. Make the full presentation to council. And we could approve or deny that evening, so it's no pressure. It's just, because we have that extra step of the second public hearing.
There is pressure, but.
Yeah, yeah,
Councilmember Hauser.
I'll make a motion to forward this to public hearing at the next possible meeting.
Motion for public hearing at the next possible meeting.
I'll second.
Support by Trent. Any other discussion? City Clerk, the roll call.
Salvia.
Yes.
Vixen.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Sage.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Moving on to our reports from various boards and commissions. I think first up, we have Historical Commission, Councilmember Sage. You have any news for us?
No, I was not able to attend that meeting. I was out of town.
Okay. City Beautiful Commission, Councilmember Jones.
Yes, we met on September 10th. Had a full group of attendees around the table, and some of the things we talked about was the Nature Sounds Amplifier. We actually had a presentation by the Eagle Scout that's going to be doing the work, very detailed. City Manager Banda helped with some connections to help him maybe with getting some funds supporting the project, and so he's moving forward with that. Basically did a little talk about the raised bed sensory gardens, which are over by the All Abilities Park. They have been planted. I did go by there this morning. The deer look like they might be enjoying a little bit of it. So I took a picture that I'll send on to see if we can do something about that. Talked about doing a rain garden by the Pink Creek Trail. It doesn't sound like that might work out. I can't remember, or it will work out.
Yeah, we were gonna have little elbow gardens, and when we put the trail in, there's no room for them, which is kind of nice. We have a lot of green space there with the garden. We have one garden at the curve that's already kind of overgrown, and we're gonna fix that one up. So, yep, save a little money.
And then maybe, I'm gonna kick it for you 2 minutes, City Manager, about the trail and what's going on over there, the new paving and et cetera.
Yeah, massive thank you to Dino Hill and Marilyn for pushing that envelope for us, and through the trust, all the trails that have been done inside the inner loop, the outer loop, the paved loop, all the way to connect Dino Hill, across the dinosaurs back around to the community garden, which will then attach to the skate park, then attach to Wilcox, to Woodward. It's all done. It looks spectacular, and we're getting such great reviews. That also acts as the detour for 31-7. I think folks know now that, Mayor, did you try to drive past that yet?
I've heard from people that.
I've walked it. It's great. It is so good.
So,
It's very. I will say, though, that if you, as a warning, it is great to have it, and thank you to the city, because when the other bridge was closed down,
Yeah.
you had to go out on Orion Road and stuff, it was dangerous. If you hit that trail, the detour going fast, which I may or may not.
That's what I was asking.
It is narrow, it is slippery.
Yeah.
There are sharp turns.
Yeah.
And there are hills. So just to be warned, and fortunately, because I'm the athlete that I am, or think I am, I did not go down.
Nice.
But it is.
Yeah, I think for bikers, it's a little tougher than it is for pedestrians, absolutely. But again, thank you for Dino Hill, and we're gonna keep compacting that, and then every year we'll top it again. The asphalt will stay, that should last for 10 years. And we're finishing the grass edges, et cetera, so it's a great project.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Great update. Asset Management Committee, Councilmember Hauser.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. September 11th was our meeting over at the fire station because it actually coincided with the 9/11 memorial, so we took a pause during the meeting and went out there, and Chief John did a great job on that. But several items that we discussed. First of all, the city DPW department and our engineering department presented us with a 6-year plan to camera and clean out all of the storm drains that connect to the roads. So what the city has done is come up with a 6-year plan. They've broken the city up into 6 different areas. And over the next 6 years, we're going to spend $2 million sending cameras to through all the storm drains that connect into the roads. And during that time, we will also be cleaning them out. We just heard about the bridge maintenance. The city is bidding out currently for all the work to handle the bridge maintenance in the city. And as we know, we've already started work on Bridge 31.7, and we talked about the detour that's been in place. Jason, well done on that. 3, road construction. Okay, so road construction continues to be a topic of discussion. All the work in downtown has been completed, and I believe we're nearing the work that's being done over in Stony Point. So that'll be taking place, again, $1 million of road work was done in 1 year in Stony Point for those residents there. Coinciding with the road construction, we're also doing our Payzer rating. And so for those in the public, the Payzer rating is when a third party does kind of like a windshield review of every single road in our city, and they present and prepare an assessment of every road on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being it's a brand-new road, 1 being it probably needs some significant repairs. And so that's done on a 5-year look ahead. My understanding in conversing with Nick at DPW is that Payzer rating should be out any time, and once it is, we'll obviously make it available for the public. Future water main work. Again, 2027, the work on the project will start. However, Rochester will not be impacted until 2028. DPW and continue to review its equipment and assets and inventory. And finally, we had a discussion. One of the cell carriers wanted to install a cell tower in Rochester Hills. However, it was a little enclave where our water well is. It would not service any Rochester Hills residents, but it would be on Rochester property where the water, the well is, and it was a resounding no. So that will not be happening. And that's it. I think, Mayor, you also wanted to talk about some members on the committee.
Yeah, thank you. Great report. I just really wanted to add that we have recently added 2 HOA liaisons onto the Asset Management Committee, and at this meeting, at least one of them was able to be there, and so it was a great opportunity to proactively educate and communicate who owns what part of the stormwater system. Part of our stormwater system is owned by the city. Part of the stormwater system is owned either by individuals or by the HOAs. So continued education to proactively communicate on responsibility for that important system. And the other thing I wanted to say about the Payzer ratings is the cost to do that work was done through a grant from SEMCOG. So really good work being done in the Asset Management Committee, taking care of our city assets. That's why it used to be called infrastructure. Now it's called asset management. These are city assets, water, sewer, roads.
That was it. I'm sorry.
That was it? You good?
Thank you very much.
Okay, next up.
Question on the Payzer rating.
Yes.
Will that include all roads, even the private ones that an HOA?
Just public roads.
That's the rules.
Okay.
Good question. Makes me think. Okay. Moving on to Paint Creek Trailways Commission. We did talk about our famous bridge, 31.7. Any updates?
I have an update there, but before I get to that, we welcomed the new trail manager at the last meeting, and I can say that she has hit the road running, the trail running, as you will. We talked about the vandalism there at the Motree Pollinator Garden, so I'm happy to report that we have purchased some new goldenrod that will be planted in the fall. And Councilmember Trent, you'll be happy to know it's the showy goldenrod, specifically the Solidago speciosa.
Liking that one.
Yes, I know.
The Latin.
Yeah,
Yes,
2 thumbs
yes.
up on that one, a good one, there you go.
Which provides crucial nectar for pollinators like monarch butterflies. Yes.
Yeah.
Bridge 31.7, yes, the demolition has begun, the trail diversion is in place. So I did want to ask a question, because I looked on the city website. Can we put that map up under the news banner? We've already reached out to the Post, the Community Lifestyles, Oakland Press. We're going to try and get articles put in there as well. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Rochester Community House, which is me. So the meeting was held September 16th. The bids have come back on the construction work for the community house. We are having kind of the second level bid discussions, getting into the details. And as any project in Rochester, anytime you touch the dirt, things get interesting. So It was pretty apparent to the Community House Board that there will be no construction this fall. So there will be some additional meetings with city staff, city engineers, the Community House, working through the details of the bids. Of course, anything would come back to City Council, but this time looks like there will be no construction this fall, so the tent is coming down. The Community House did host our State of the City, which saved the city quite a bit of money compared to where it's been hosted in the past at the Royal Park. There is a new TV and sound system in Room D, and they also decided to hold off on any kitchen renovations. Again, just, always waiting for this renovation to happen at the Community House has been really hard for the work that the organization, the Community House, does. So fingers crossed, we'll get through that. Next up, we have Rochester Avon Recreation Authority. Councilmember King.
So, I'll just say, so most of the focus is on the master plan, and I'll get to that. But we're having a really good season. We've offered more programming this year than in years past, and we're expected to exceed last year's participation revenue by October of this year. So Rah-Rah is doing really well, especially the camps, not only just summer camp, but also the days off school. Like this Friday, there's no school, and so they offer camps for families on that day. And then there's also special need camps, which also offer respite care. And I actually, when I was out door knocking, I got to meet a family that uses that program, and it was just really cool to hear from them, like how beneficial this is for them and their family. And they actually just moved to Rochester to be closer to Rah-Rah.
Cool.
So that was really cool. There are millage signs available to go up in Rochester Hills. So Rochester supports Rah-Rah through our budget. Rochester Hills has a millage. Their millage expires, and they are renewing it. They're looking to renew it this year. Same cost, so no increase for the city of Rochester. But we do want to make sure that our sister city is supporting Rah-Rah as an organization. So if you have friends, neighbors, relatives in Rochester Hills, you can talk to them about the millage, why Rah-Rah is so important to the community, and they can pick up yard signs at the Rah-Rah building to put up and help to spread the word for the vote this November. And then lastly, we are working on a master plan. There have been some visioning sessions. McKenna is doing it, and it's not John, it's a different group that does master plans for these organizations. They've been out in the community quite a bit. There's been, a lot of surveys, there's visioning boards trying to seek, as much community input as we can. And we have a working session that'll be coming up here soon to help set our goals and objectives for the master plan and for the organization.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up is Downtown Development Authority. I will take that one. Councilmember Trent, you good with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I wasn't there. So I am more than happy for you to take
Happy to do it. So the meeting was held Wednesday, September 17th. Really the main topic, what we talked about was the update to the Market Plus the Graham. So really for council and the public's knowledge, we reviewed, I think we're calling this version 3.0. So this is the redesign to get it back in the financial box, I'll call it, once we discovered digging into the dirt is a problem. So the new design, you can watch the meeting. It will be coming before council. The new design direction minimizes the new construction footprint, meaning we don't have to dig into the dirt. It maintains all of the original programming requirements. It does include a performance stage. It does include public bathrooms. It keeps the historic intent. I think it looks pretty cool. So it's also much simpler to design and build. So stay tuned from a timeline standpoint. Friday, 10/3 is when they expect to have cost and pricing back. 10/7, hoping to have a special DDA board meeting to review that for version 3.0. So potentially October 13th, council could see this. So that was kind of the main topic, what we talked about really. So good meeting, important meeting, and lots of good work being done to try to keep that project moving forward.
Question,
Yeah.
are they gonna use the same architect?
They are using the same, the DDA board did authorize the same architect. They have changed the person, the physical architect that is doing this.
Seems like it's maybe time for a change. But I guess we can discuss that. It has to come to council.
It has to come to council. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to general and miscellaneous. I will start with city clerk.
2 items, Your Honor. Reminder that absentee ballots will begin mailing this Thursday, so we have over 3,000 of them going out. Friday, an additional list will go out. That's not as big as it has been in the past. I counted today, it's only about 66 so far. So that's those that have come in since I mailed that out 3 weeks ago. And a reminder that tomorrow's special meeting at 6:30 here in council chambers. And watch your emails. I'm going to send out some additional information tomorrow afternoon on that.
Great.
That's all, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. City manager?
2 quick things. We're working as fast as we can on Lot 10, which is next to the Butterfly Garden Center. So contractor got a good weekend. Weather's a little iffy this week, but new berm, opportunity for more benches and trees. And I talked to Lori Puskas, her mom's memory tree was where we had to take it out. So we relocated. We actually got our brand new tree because that was kind of struggling. So she was happy with that. So we're going to keep that going as fast as we can. So, and then second, DPW Director Schaefer and Project Manager Warner both joined the Rochester Leadership Group this time. So they're our last department heads to go through it. So they're
Awesome. You'll love it. You'll love it.
basically the whole leadership staff's been through that. So it's a great program. Maggie's been wonderful helping with us. So we're proud of that. That's it.
Thank you. Back to city clerk.
Real quick, also, Brian communicated with me. He was unsuccessful in muting, but he is out there.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Thank you. City attorney.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember King.
Yeah, so there's this program I've been doing some research on is, we've seen some instances of blight that are due to, or they're suspected hoarding, and I've also been out in the community, I've seen some other instances, so I was actually doing some research because it's not a very simple thing to deal with. It's not just a matter of, forcing somebody to clean up their home. A lot of times they need some additional help. And so there's actually some communities surrounding us. Sterling Heights started this program called Safe Homes, and I had a call with somebody from the community recently to learn more. They've actually invited if we'd be interested in coming in and sitting on a meeting, but they essentially have a task force that includes somebody from code enforcement, police, city manager, different areas within the city government, and they meet very frequently to talk about these instances. They have a grading system that they look at and evaluate properties on, and there's different steps based on what the issues are. They have 2 contracted social workers that they work with through a nonprofit organization that know how to connect these residents to the resources that they need, whether it be mental health resources, whether it be actual help with cleaning up their properties, maybe some junk removal or organization. It sounds like a really great program. I don't think necessarily our issues are as prolific, but I do think it's a great program from what I've seen. We might be able to take some pieces from it and at least maybe get connected to these social workers, and there might be learnings for us. So I was gonna maybe see if I could connect with city manager, maybe get a couple people where we could sit in and learn from this. They actually took it from, I wanna say somewhere in the Saginaw, mid-Michigan area. It was another city there that had started this about maybe 8 or so years ago, and Saginaw started theirs, or I'm sorry, Sterling Heights started theirs about 5 years ago now. So they've been, through some trial and error. But I thought it might be something that would be really beneficial to us.
Great, thank you. Yeah, we learned today that Jason Warner reviewed our current BSNA software, and we can use that for part of our blight process. So I think there'll be some committee meetings and discussing that. This would be a great thing to see how we can Rochesterize it and make it part of our process. So great idea. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, in deference to the Lions game, nothing tonight.
Go Lions. Anybody know the score?
14-7.
Right. Yes. Yes, thank you. Okay, all right. Councilmember Sage.
Nothing this evening.
There you go.
Sure,
Usually I
Councilmember
get
Jones.
called on.
You've been called on.
I'm officially called.
Yep.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you for the state of the city. Mayor Salvia did a wonderful job. It was exciting to be there. It was very, very well attended, so thank you for that. It was a great night. I loved the little desserts. I took more than my share home with me. And then also, I don't know if anybody saw on the front page of the Post, there was an article about the skateboard park, so that's excited. There it is, exciting. We are going to have a sign made because so many people are asking about where it's going to be. So there'll be a coming soon sign that they're working on right now. We did have to alter due to the soil issues. It isn't exactly the original plan, but it's still a great one. I attended a conference this last week, and so Marilyn's going to take it from there on that. And then also tonight at the Board of Ed meeting, the superintendent of RCS presented his evaluation on what to do with the 501 building, which is also known as the admin building, and his suggestion is for it to be sold. They put the market value as is standing for sale at $2.1 million. If it was torn down because of the expense involved, it would be $3.4 million. And it goes to the Board of Education. They get to decide what they want to do, if they want to sell it, or if they want to tear it down and do something with the property. And Bob Bloomingdale's interested. He's got a very exciting group that might want to get involved and make it a housing for a lot of nonprofits like they did for the Webster School in Pontiac and the school we went to in Detroit. I'm forgetting the name. So we'll see where it rolls out, but it is in motion finally, that something will be happening with that. And Bob Bloomingdale just texted me and said it was a good meeting and there was positive support for it remaining up. So we're hopeful that it will not get torn down.
But you didn't get that text during open
No,
meeting?
actually, I didn't read that text. No,
Okay.
I did not.
Okay, just
Yeah.
clarifying.
I think
That's it.
Durfee is the one in Detroit.
Yeah, we went to a meeting there.
Really
It's
cool.
been so successful.
Boston Edison.
And so we have a lot of interested people, and so fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Councilmember Trent.
Well, speaking of newspapers, just would like to say the Paint Creek Trail takes a detour. That was put in Community Lifestyles. And I do want to compliment both papers, both of our local papers, Community Lifestyles and Rochester Post, on keeping up with people with the local news. I really appreciate that. Yes, Councilmember Jones and I did attend the Michigan Municipal League 2025 convention. It was I love going to these conventions. They had a conference in the spring, and then they have a convention this year. We have over 500 municipal leaders from across Michigan who gathered at the convention in Grand Rapids for about 3 days of learning, collaboration, and idea sharing. So the highlights were, it started out with me to go to the attended the Greener Grand Rapids tour, and we visited the retrofitted Vicinity Energy Plant, which was the first energy plant in Michigan, founded by our very own Thomas Edison. So it is, but now over 100 years later, they provide cost-saving energy to 120 buildings and with green initiatives, and also they clean the acid in the rain, which was amazing to see. So I loved being there, and it's owned by the city. So they actually have cost savings to their 120 businesses. We also learned about the other green initiatives along the Grand River that they've been cleaning up and putting in some riparian buffers that might even have some showy goldenrod to protect the shoreline and city bridges. So from there, then they have these workshops, which all conferences do, and Deb and I divided and conquered. She goes through, and I agree with smart budgeting, but that's where she attended. And they explored strategies for resilient budgeting in uncertain financial times, which Councilmember Jones said when she went there to that meeting, it was check, check, check. Anthony and Marcy, our financial department heads, who work in our financial department, do it all. So, I mean, we got reinforced by a lot of things. There was also a workshop on supporting small businesses, how municipalities can help entrepreneurs thrive. And then there was thriving communities, reviewed indicators such as infrastructure, housing, and public health and arts that makes communities strong. Practical sustainability, and that was one I attended. I learned from Holland's sustainability manager that on balancing environmental goals with economic vitality, including a complimentary book on strategies. So I have some things to read about, and I will be bringing those ideas, and I would like to talk about sustainability committee that I will be the chair of, if I can, but that's in the future, maybe next month or so, I'll bring that to council. We attended the Michigan Women in Municipal Government, and that was an annual meeting to connect women leaders across the state. And then we got to talk about one of my favorite subjects, creative stormwater management. It seems to be something that is on the top of mind of many people. And Grand Rapids' innovative approach using underground. Well, I mean, it is kind of innovative, but they are, I mean, it's been around for a while, using underground detention tanks to reduce costs and prioritize at-risk neighborhoods as well. So the key takeaways were Bird City. We can become a bird city. We are already a tree city and pollinator city and modern champion city. So now we can become a bird city with the Michigan Auto certification through the Michigan Audubon Society. It's only $200, and I think we probably already qualify. Then, I mean, basically, what we learned was we are really an innovative and strong city with our and our budgets are balanced, but we always learn some additional things we can work on. We have those, we're gonna bring our ideas to City Beautiful Commission and like I said, Sustainability Committee. But they talked a lot about community building experiences, family-friendly, walkable outdoor spaces, and cultivating third spaces, and that's what Rochester does as well. So I have a plan that we will be standing on the stage talking about what Rochester has done, maybe with the mini forest and all the other things we've done with creating third spaces where residents can gather, with our skate park as well. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that we just didn't go there and party or anything. We worked really hard. So that's why you had to listen to all of this, because, yes, we went to all the meetings.
We believe you. We believe you. You were in a lot of sessions. We believe you.
I could go on, but I am done.
Lions are now in the fourth quarter.
So I needed to be believed. I loved it.
I'm all set.
Councilmember Hauser, all set?
Thank
All right,
you.
I just have a couple quick things.
Okay.
October 20th, there will be a planning commissioner training session, and so I would also open that to any council members who might want to participate in that. That'll be here at City Hall in the evening, so I think it's 7. Friday, we have a tree committee meeting, big issue to discuss there. And then lastly, I would like to thank city staff, specifically for the state of the city, for Megan, Marcy, Holly, and Anthony, and of course, city manager. I think it went very well. The feedback I heard was it was engaging and people stayed engaged the whole time and listening. It is available online if people would like to watch it or watch part of it. It's on our website. And my hope is that the message was clear. The message that our residents tell us they love Rochester. And they love Rochester because we pass the triple bottom line test. We are fiscally responsible. We have excellent public services, police, fire, water, sewer, and very high quality of life. And so what they say is they love Rochester. So check out the video. Anything else? Meeting adjourned. Go Lions.
Yes, go Lions.
I gotta go say hi to Ken.